December 1st. A word in season to the weary by Brother Bakht Singh. Prove me now. Malachi chapter 3 verse 10. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. Deuteronomy chapter 14 verse 22. Many believers fail to give their tithes to God joyfully and regularly. In the beginning, when their income is less, they give their tithe regularly. But when their income increases, they find it difficult to give their tithes. Many believers misuse their tithes. Some think they can spend that money to poor relations, or beggars, or wandering preachers, or a charity. Tithes are meant for God, and God's house. By giving our tithe to God's house, we acknowledge that all what we have and all what we are, is from God. Abraham gave tithe to Melchizedek. Genesis chapter 14 verse 20, to acknowledge that by God's strength and help he could rescue Lot and defeat the kings. Your tithes must be brought to God's house. You have no right over it. If you want to help your poor relations or neighbors, do so from the remaining portion of your income. In the beginning, I myself never knew how to give tithe. At that time I had no money. I was having my training without any payment. If someone gave a small gift, I spent it on myself. For more than 1 year I did not give tithe. I remained in poverty, no money for many days. I had to walk many miles almost every day as I had no money for bus fare. If someone felt sorry for me and gave me a small gift, I thought, it is not much, it is meant only for my need. With that understanding, I never gave any tithe. Then the Lord rebuked me, saying, "You are a robber. Even though the amount is small, you are robbing me." Then a thought came to me, if I can manage with rupees 10, I can manage with rupees 9. Why rob God of 1 rupee? So I decided to give tithe. I began with giving God 1/10, then 2/10, then half, then 3/4, then everything I received. I said, "Lord, all that I have is yours. I won't touch a single peso without your permission." It is from that day, he began to give abundantly and gave me a privilege of helping many people. He went on multiplying and multiplying. Now I do not even know what it is to be in want. All these past years, the Lord has been supplying in abundance every need in God's work of any kind. He met all my needs, when I learned to give him joyfully. Do not be a robber. Give God your tithe. That is God's portion. Thank him for the strength, health and wisdom he gave you to earn something. And whatever he gives, be content. Do not be greedy and covetous. Do not beg, do not borrow, not even from your father-in-law or mother-in-law. That is God's word in Romans chapter 13 verse 8. Owe no man anything. You may be a preacher or anyone else. It does not matter. Whatever your need may be, never borrow. If you want to testify before other people that the Lord is your helper, then do not borrow. Read Hebrews chapter 13 verses 5 and 6. If you do borrow, then you say, "My father-in-law is my helper, my mother-in-law is my helper, my neighbors and friends are my helpers." It is by contentment and by refusing to borrow anything that you can be a witness. Please do not borrow from any man. Give God's portion joyfully to God's house, and he will abundantly reward you and bless you.